feel today? Ask yourself this question.
What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Let's go! We made it! We made it! We made it! We made it! And let's go to the And let's go to the
When I step on the field, I send one message. And this is what it feels like. This is what it feels like.
Football is getting hit. That's it.
It's gonna be football now! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Let's hunt now! Let's hunt now! Let's go! Let's hunt! We made it! And let's go to And let's go to
We're talking about the Jets like we're talking about the Saints. You know, all this, how like we the Miami Heat of football. Yeah. The bottom line is you got to buckle up your chin strap.
It's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Don't disrespect the game like that. There's too much crying from them.
He's a man. They can be hit just like us. He's a man.
You already make the big money.
He's a man.
Don't cry when you step on the field, man. That's war out there.
When I step on the field, I send one message. And this is what it feels like.
Oh, my bad. Your bad don't work in my world.
What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! We made it! And let's go to And let's go to It's a wrap. Game over.
All right, you already know this game ain't over. It's just getting started right here on the lunch break, powered by JM&E, streaming live on Roku TV, courtesy of BS3 TV. I'm AJ Jones, and we're about to get it in on this Talk Your Team Tuesday. I got my man. I got the man who I think is one of the most brilliant young brothers in this business. And I am glad that he was able to make time to join us on the show today. It is none other than Mike Patton from touring the AFC South. What's going on, bro?
It's another rainy day in Nashville. But other than that, AFC South football is right around the corner.
Brother, it is about to go down. In fact, the AFC South kicks it off this year with the Hall of Fame game on the 1st. That's like 9 days away. It'll be the Texans and the Bears in the Hall of Fame game. And, man, that's pretty surprising given where the Texans have been and kind of where the AFC South has been, man. I'm just telling you, I'm ready, man. I'm so ready I can't even see straight.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. One note on that game, Mr. Jonathan Owens will not be playing in that game. He will be in Paris supporting his wife because he won't be there July 29th through August 3rd. He will not be with Bears. Yeah. He's excused to go watch his wife, Simone Biles, compete in the Olympics.
Yeah, as he should be, man. I mean, hold on. Let's just get one thing out on the table. While we're ready for some NFL football, this practice, man, not the game. This is practice. Mm-hmm. These are exhibition games. So, man, I'm glad he's going to be there. But again, we got a lot to talk about. Mike, first things first. How's your mom doing, man?
Hey, doing great. She's doing great, man.
Don't tell her she got a new son down here in Houston, and he's praying for her. And man, I'm excited that she's doing great.
Yeah,
all right, brother.
Definitely.
Say it again.
Oh, she's definitely doing great. Of course, talked to her the other day. So.
Okay, got you. All right, so man, several weeks ago, I dropped my predictions for the NFL. I like to get those out early so nobody can say I copied off of theirs and I'm just repeating what I heard and da-da-da-da-da. And I don't hold back, man. I get where I'm going. And you happen to be tuned in that day and you dropped some knowledge about the Tennessee Titans that I got to be honest, man. I don't know a lot about what's going on up there in Tennessee. I know they lost a lot of players. Let me get to that. I know they lost a lot of players, and here's what I said. But you were like, man, Tennessee is going to be pretty good this year. What am I missing, man? Tell us what we don't know.
Well, the thing is, with the Tennessee Titans, they actually upgraded the pieces that caused them the most problems. And third downs last year, they couldn't stop anybody. They had, pretty below average defensive back play in terms of corners. They went out and upgraded that with L'Jarius Sneed and Chidobe Awuzie. Yes, I practiced saying his name. But they've done that. They also, offensively, they were basically 3 yards in a cloud of dust. They flipped that over this year. Now they're more of a passing offense. They go out and get the number one pass blocking center, I should say, this year. Went out and added J.C. Latham, which is a walking box of talent. And then, oh, by the way, added Bill Callahan, the best offensive line coach in the NFL. So they went out and addressed those things, also added more weapons, brought in Calvin Ridley, brought in, basically Pollard at running back to go along with Tyjae Spears, which a lot of people are like, Derrick Henry's gone, this. I'm like, okay. You notice the offense is going to be a pass-first offense this year. So does Derrick Henry fit a pass-first offense? No, he does not. And eventually time comes to move on. So I think this year their offense is more versatile and they are better on the back end than they have been in a few years. Oh, and just add in there, they did add Jamal Adams in as well. They just signed him to a 1-year deal. Was it last week or the week before? So he's going to be competing for that job. This defense is going to be aggressive, way more aggressive than the defense they had last year, per Denard Wilson, who is the former defensive back coach for the Baltimore Ravens, which is a team that is known for being very, very aggressive. So It's going to be fun to watch. I like those different changes. And to be honest, the other two teams, the Colts and the Jaguars, that I picked to finish below the Titans, the Colts, they went with the remix basically. The same. The remix in terms of you bringing the same characters back, but they drop in a different verse, or they're hoping they're going to drop a different verse. We see what happens when it comes to the Colts there. And the Jaguars, I mean, honestly, they threw me off. Now they did just pay Tyson Campbell him a hefty extension, 4 years, I think $75 million. But to me, they still don't have that consistent corner opposite. They're playing Darnell Savage, which, Savage life. Well, it was what I like to call him. Savage season is what I like to say he is. But they got him playing in the slot instead of playing safety like he was when he basically came into the league. They're still kind of tinkering between this 3-4 and 4-3. I like Ryan Nielsen, but I'm like, okay, you got personnel for a 4-3, not a 3-4. But, there's just a lot of issues there. And then offensively, I'm not really comfortable with their offense right now.
Okay. All right. We got Mike Patton joining us, touring the AFC South, and that's exactly what we're doing. He's up in Nashville, Tennessee, so obviously he's very well versed on the Tennessee Titans, a team that I admittedly am not as well versed on as I probably should be, saying they got a lot of changes that they made. And Mike, I think we can agree these aren't necessarily sexy changes, but they are significant changes. And it doesn't have to be sexy, man, especially on the defensive side. It just has to be efficient.
Right. Just win. That's the only thing that matters is W's.
Yeah. I had a coach in high school at Cincinnati Moeller that we lost 2 games in 4 years. He went on to be head coach at Notre Dame. He had a saying that if they don't score, they can't win. So he knew the importance of defense. When I coached football after that, when I was an offensive coordinator, I even said that on the offensive side of the ball. Listen, if they can't score, they can't win. Defense got it locked down. We got to put up our points. We can win this thing 3-0. We can win this thing 2-0. But if they don't score, they can't win. So
right.
You're telling me that defense is going to be formidable. So I think I heard you say you got them at number 2 in your preseason rankings. Lay it out for me. What you got?
I've got the Texans 1. I've got the Titans 2. I've got the Colts at 3. The Jaguars at 4. Now, plenty of Jaguar fans have given me the business when it comes to talking about the Jaguars finishing in 4th place. But let me just explain. I don't think any one of these teams is going to finish below 500 this year in the AFC South. Okay. All right. I think this is the second best division in the NFL outside of the AFC North. Okay. Well. So this division is going to be very competitive. It all depends on the Titans' success. Depends on the defense, but it also depends on the progress of Will Levis, which he actually has a offensive coordinator that's kind of feeds into what he wants to do. He just has to continue to grow and get better, which, all indications are that he is a very, very hard worker, which I've seen some of this hard work personally. He's a guy that I'm like, okay, cool. You're going to get his best effort out of everything. I'm not saying he's a world beater or anything like that, but he's a guy that's going to give you his best effort. He's going to be a guy that's going to learn from his mistakes. And he's a guy that actually holds himself accountable as well as the whole team, which is indicative of what a great leader can be.
Got you. Mike Patton, touring the AFC South. Listen, we're going to take our first break. We'll come back. I want to pick up right where you left off, talking about Will Levis and some of the other quarterbacks in the division. Again, it's Talk Your Team Tuesday. Donna Coleman-Holman, what's up, sis? Glad to see you checking in. Thank you for your service to our country. And your big brother loves you. All right, we'll be right back right after this on the lunch break.
What do you get when you watch or listen to the Life Happens podcast? Well, I'll let them tell you.
Kim and I are both ministers of the gospel, and the Life Happens podcast is a beautiful balance by simply taking our spirituality with real life and merging it together to create a beautiful balance. And that's what we do.
BS3 Network proudly presents Life Happens podcast, where Christianity and life intersect. Live every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central.
Hi, I'm Laura Williams coming to you from Bayway Cadillac of the Woodlands. Here we've got tons of inventory here at Bayway Cadillac of the Woodlands, ranging from XT4s to XT6 and from CT4 to CT6. We've got tons of certified pre-owned inventory here. Come see us here at Bayway Cadillac of the Woodlands. You can contact Laura Williams at 281-224-3666.
If you're looking for a sports program that gives you the flavor.
Washington Commanders? Really?
This whole thing stinks to high heaven.
That pulls no punches.
Thuggish act by a thuggish actor.
That gives you some humor.
Praise everything LeBron does and never criticize it.
If you want a show that gives you good times, then this is that show. BS3 Network proudly presents.
I am Cole Johnson, and welcome to
Cole Sports with a Z. Every Friday on Patreon and every Saturday on YouTube, Spreaker, and all other outlets.
All right, y'all, we're back here on the lunch break, powered by JM&E, streaming live on Roku TV, courtesy of BS3 TV. Big shout out to my man Cole Johnson of Cole Sports with a Z. Always glad to have him tuned in and doing his thing as well. Also glad to have my brother like no other, Mike Patton, touring the AFC South, here with us live. And brother, so you were talking about Will Levis before the break. And I think since we last connected, I did this. I got some quarterback rankings by divisions. And again, I'm not trying to be a homer or anything. I've got Deshaun as the best quarterback in the division. I got the Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence, even though I've got them picked second to last in the division. And then I put Richardson, and down there at the bottom, I got Will Levis. Mm-hmm. What am I missing?
All right. Well, CJ Stroud is definitely going to be the guy in terms.
I said Deshaun. I'm sorry. You know who I meant.
No, I know what you meant.
Yeah, CJ Stroud.
CJ Stroud is definitely going to be the guy in terms of the top quarterback going into the season. But I can't put Trevor Lawrence right there at the top I'll put him at the second. I'll take it back. I'll put him at the second spot.
Okay.
But I think him and Will Levis actually had similar things that happened to them last year. They both had bad offensive lines. They both had some inconsistencies there, and they both were under pressure and duress pretty much. So you never really saw the best out of them. However, I will say that Trevor has been around for a while, and now the pressure is even more on after him signing a big time contract extension.
Right.
So to me, he should be further along than what Will Levis is. And to me, I can't really just say, oh, he's more consistent now. He does have better numbers, and that's correct, but he's still very inconsistent. His numbers are all up and down, just like how Will Levis was kind of up and down when he first started. Four touchdowns, no interceptions first game, and then he was 4 touchdowns, 4 interceptions the rest of the season.
Right.
And I can't put Anthony Richardson above Will Levis just because I didn't see enough of Anthony Richardson just to say, hey, he's the third best quarterback in the division. I know talent-wise, he's extremely talented, but I give him an incomplete grade right now. So if I had to do the rankings, I would do CJ Stroud, Trevor Lawrence, Will Levis, and then Anthony Richardson, only because I don't know what Anthony Richardson is right now because I haven't seen him play enough games to do so. Yeah.
And I'm not gonna argue that. I mean, that to me is fair controversy, for lack of a better word. I think Anthony Richardson gives them more balance, gives them a different dimension than what they had with Gardner Minshew. But I got to tell you, excuse me, Will Levis and Anthony Richardson, we can kind of put them as 3A and 3B. Trevor Lawrence, I agree with you that he should be further along than he is. Part of that is what he was working with, but a lot of that is on him. He's got to take that next step into the next echelon of quarterbacks for him to fully live up to the hype that he came into the league with. What do you think?
Oh, definitely. He definitely does. To me, I think too many people. The funny part about the whole thing, quarterbacks in the AFC South, is you have the two quarterbacks in terms of Trevor Lawrence and Will Levis. You make excuses for Trevor Lawrence, but you give all kinds of stuff to Will Levis. I've noticed that when anybody, I think it's more of a personal problem with Will Levis than it is an actual issue with Will Levis that I've seen in terms of stuff I've read. Because literally looking at it, like, okay, with Trevor Lawrence his receivers not catching the football, his receivers aren't getting open, he's got a bad offensive line, things like that. But when you flip it over to Will Levis, you don't always hear that. You always hear he's making bad decisions, he's being reckless, he's doing this, he's doing that. I'm like, okay, you know the Titans line was worse than the Jaguars line, right?
Yeah.
You do. So that's where I'm like, okay, if you're gonna criticize Will Levis and Trevor Lawrence, at least bring all the factors into it. Don't just do it because you don't like him. Because ultimately what it comes down is you don't like a guy that puts mayonnaise in his coffee. Basically, that's what you don't like.
I was just going to ask you, is it the off the field quirky stuff that he does? Because I don't think we know enough about Will Levis to not like him for personal reasons and things like that. He seems like a fine young man to me. Real quick before we have to get our next break, All Mad, who is a big time Cowboys fan and hater of Jason Kidd, says, what about the sophomore jinx with CJ? Will it come true? I don't think so, but let you answer that.
Honestly, it'll be just interesting to watch that. I did think about that beginning of this season. The only reason I thought about that is because there's more film out there. There's a whole season of CJ Stroud film. And now I know some people are like, well, they had time to watch film during the season. They this, they that. I'm like, I understand that. But during the off season, you have way more time. Break down film, break down tendencies, all those different things.
Tells, you name it.
So that's why I'm like, at that point, I'm like, it's going to be interesting to see how he overcomes those tendencies that some teams have picked up on, whether he has a moment where, he's not the CJ Stroud you saw last year, and then he comes back to being that guy. So that'll be interesting just to see if that happens this season. I mean, would it surprise me if that happens? No. But would it surprise me if it doesn't? No. Sorry, just because it's CJ Stroud. I said all along that he was the most talented quarterback that came out in his draft class.
Yeah, no, I agree. I say the same thing about the offensive coordinator. You know, again, you had a guy that you now have a full offseason to look at how he called games, what he did in certain situations and conditions without having to worry about getting ready for a game that weekend or that Thursday night or whatever the case may be. A lot of folks don't realize that a lot can happen when you have time to make it happen. You can find things that you missed during the regular season, during the offseason. So it's very possible. I'm not going to be a homer and say, oh, no way, CJ's just going to kill it again. It is very possible that folks can catch up to some things that they might have missed during the regular season. Anybody else do you think might run into some problems this season that they may not have faced last season? AFC South.
I would say that. Oh yeah, definitely. I was thinking about that. I would say maybe Evan Ingram's going to draw a lot more attention this year, so that may be something there because you don't have. I mean, I know you have a Thomas that came in the draft from LSU. However, what I am thinking about is he's not a proven guy in terms of like had 1,000 yards before in the season like Calvin Ridley was. So it's probably going to be a little bit more attention there until Thomas proves himself. There's also going to be attention to whoever the second cornerback is for the Jaguars. I mean, it was Darius Williams last year, and he went back and played for the Rams. So now there's going to be probably a rookie out there, which that's going to be fun because every team in the NFL that sees them is going to be challenging that rookie every single week. So, you know, it'll be fun to watch that along with, you know, the Colts, the same thing. They have Juju Brents and a bunch of other corners. I'm not going to say other corners. Kenny Moore is a slot corner. He's not an outside corner. So that's why I'm saying that. Yeah. But yeah, that's just definitely something that I'm taking a look at and paying attention to, as well as with the Texans. The Texans that don't have Steven Nelson. They brought in Kamari Lassiter. They brought in Jeff Okudah, and then they brought in C.J. Henderson as well. So that'll be quite interesting to see what happens there. Now, if one of those first-round draft picks doesn't start or at least factor into the rotation or as the third corner, then need to be cut. Basically, you don't need to keep the two. If one of them's probably going to make it, and I believe one of them is going to be cut.
Yeah, that's a serious statement. Real quick for Ahmad, he said, "Great answer, guys. I like what they put around him. That should help him. They got a hell of a wide receiver room in Houston. It's crazy to see that wide receiver room in Houston. Do you think that will pose a problem when you look at the secondaries around the AFC South?"
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think the Titans probably have the best secondary to kind of deal with this team because they do have L'Jarius Sneed and Chidobe Awuzie, and then they have Roger McCreary in the slot. But you know, as far as this offense and these skill position players will cause a problem. I mean, you've got Nico Collins, you've got Tank in the slot, you've got Stephon Diggs outside, you've got Mechie that you can bring in, and he's been looking pretty good. That was from what I've noticed. Yeah, you've got Noah Brown. I mean, and Robert Woods. I mean, I hate to say it, but I don't think Robert Woods is going to make this team. It's
quite possible he won't. Yeah. So it's going to be very interesting. Let's take one more break. Come back with our final segment with Chris. I'm sorry. I'm thinking Chris Gardner. Mike Patton, touring the AFC South right here on the lunch break, powered by JM&E, streaming live on Roku TV, courtesy of BS3 TV.
This is a BS3 network presentation. Politics.
They'll write the law, but they'll enforce it differently. Is that going to apply both ways?
Religion.
God never said that we can't reason together. Matter of fact, he said, let us sit and reason together.
Relationship.
I believe that everybody wants and needs somebody.
From a man's perspective.
They say, girls, if I put some polish on that and get him to buy some different clothes, girl, he could be a winner chicken dinner.
Join the thought engineer.
There's nothing wrong with me developing my piece and you developing your piece, but understand the goal is to come together.
And comedian John Yogi.
Negro, I don't need you putting on no chapstick up there in the pulpit. You do that over there in your chair.
Get ready for
Man Talk Monday.
Monday at 7 p.m. Central.
Hi, I'm Laura Williams coming to you from Bayway Cadillac of the Woodlands. Here we've got tons of inventory here at Bayway Cadillac of the Woodlands, ranging from XT4s to XT6 and from CT4 to CT6. We've got tons of certified pre-owned inventory here. Come see us here at Bayway Cadillac of the Woodlands. You can contact Laura Williams at 281-224-3666.
For Steph Curry, Tim Anderson, Jordan Alvarez, and it's caught. Debo Samuel with the catch. Michael Jordan can sense the throw. Just got the king.
BS3 Network. The hottest of hot takes. The coldest of cold hard facts. This is Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson. Weekdays at 8 a.m. Eastern. Check your local listings for your viewing and listening pleasure.
Man, we got some great sports talk shows out there, man. Snowman in the Morning is definitely one of them. Cole Johnson with Cole Sports with a Z. And my brother right here, Mike Patton, turned the AFC South. Again, brother, we got some great people doing it. You are definitely one of them. You know, I value and appreciate your work. Appreciate you taking the time to join us here on the show. Go on and give me your rankings for the AFC South again, and then I want to hit you with what I think, and you tell me what you think. Go ahead.
All right, the rankings. I got the Houston Texans at 1. I probably got them to win 12 to 13 games. I've got the Titans at number 2 with maybe 10 wins. I've got the Jaguars at 9-8. I'm sorry, the Colts at 9-8, and I got the Jaguars at 9-8. So okay. Everybody above 500 for the division, just the Jaguars coming in last place.
All right, here's what I got for you. I got one team making the playoffs from the AFC South. Yes or no?
I've got 2, maybe 3.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, I know you got the Titans in. You tell me the
Titans. I think the Titans will be the surprise team, just like the Texans were the surprise team last year, because no one in their right mind really picked the Texans to do as well as they did and win the division. So I definitely think the Titans, the Texans, and I think the Colts sneak in the last weekend.
I haven't done this yet, but I'm gonna let you do it. Off the rip, give me the coaching rankings for the AFC South. Go.
Coach. I mean, D'Amico's got to be number 1. I mean, that's obvious. Him and Shane Steichen are like 1A and 1B to me. You've got Doug Peterson at 3, and then you've got Brian Callahan. You've got him at 4 because, of course, he's never done it, so no one knows what they expect from him. So it's not necessarily downgrading him. It's just the other guys, we know what they expect. We don't know what they expect from Callahan. He's never been there.
Yeah, I got you. Hey, man, again, that's what I love about you, man. You are definitely not a homer. You do your work. You do your research. You have something valid to back up what you say. And that's what differentiates you from, a lot of folks out here doing this thing. It's not just sensational. It's factual. And I appreciate you, man. Tell everybody what you're doing, what you're working on, where they can find you, where they can follow you.
All right. Well, of course, I'm Mike Patton. But you can actually find me on tour in the AFC South, which I'm actually finished ranking every position. I just finished doing the defensive fronts for each team. Next up will be linebackers, and then it'll be defensive backs. Maybe if I have enough time, I'll do coaching too. But definitely I'm doing that. Of course, that's on Tuesdays and Fridays is usually when that airs. Also, of course, I do This Woman Works, which is my podcast highlighting and celebrating Black women. I do that every Wednesday. This Wednesday, I have Ebony Upshaw. She actually is definitely cooking. So this ought to be an interesting episode on this one. So, and plus, I have a varied amount of black women coming on, and a lot that are actually from Nashville. So a lot of people are going to get to know some black women from Nashville over the next month or so. So yeah, that's what I do. And you can find me on the artist formerly known as Twitter. I always say that, paying homage to Prince, which is one of the greatest artists of all time.
Absolutely.
You can find me there at Mike Patton 82. That's MikePatton 82. And on Instagram, you can find me there at that's THA, not THE _general_MP.
All right. Hey man, listen, I got to tell you now. Wait, were you born in 82?
Yes.
Okay, so you were born in 82. I graduated high school in 82. Man, again, I appreciate you, man. Hey, I'm rocking my Kappa Alpha Psi because the Divine Nine have obviously mobilized and gotten behind the current Democratic presumed nominee for president.
Mm-hmm.
I was on the Black Man Call last night, had about 50, 60,000 of us on that call. We raised about $1.5 million, close to $2 million. And hey man, I'm telling you, there's a movement going on in this country. I'll say this: whatever you do, just vote. Just vote. Just vote. Listen, I'm not gonna tell you who to vote for. I want to, but I'll just keep it plain. But just vote, man. I was raised in an era where my grandmother, my mom, my dad, like honed in my head what people went through to be able to vote. And here I can vote without any of those kind of pressures. So the least I can do is my civic duty. So Mike Patton, thank you for tuning in, brother. Any final words, anything you want to close us out with?
Yeah, definitely. I want to, speak to people. Definitely get out there and vote. That is positive. And then also do your homework. Don't just sit there and buy on these myths and things like that. Read, people. Yeah. Do you hear these people out here saying, hey, the best way to do things is to hide all the information in the books. People say this still to this day. So you might actually read. READ. That's how you spell it. Read.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I grew up on RIF. And then also I'll say, what's that?
I grew up on RIF. Reading is fundamental, man. We had all that rolling around, man. If you had that RIF truck come through your neighborhood, you go get you some books. So yeah, man, I got you. Go ahead. You finish it up.
Yeah, that. And then I also want to say, people, I'm going to say this about black women because, everyone that knows me knows I ride hard for black women. So this is the thing I want to say. Please respect black women.
Yeah.
Don't get out here saying no foolishness and then think everything's going to be okay when you talk to a black woman. No, it's not. I'm going to be mad at you. And I'm not a black woman.
Yeah.
Please get out here, respect black women, understand. And then just for in general, black people, show love to each other. It's too much of this arguing back and forth on social media about who black men and black women and stuff like that. Why don't you talk to understand, not talk to be superior? Think about that.
That's a bar right there. Talk to understand, don't talk to be superior. Man, again, I just respect you, man. I got nothing but respect. We didn't even know each other, and I was checking you out, and I have not been wrong yet. I have not been wrong yet. So, Mike, keep doing what you're doing. Can't wait to see your rankings. Can't wait to see what you're going to do next. Enjoy yourself out there at NABJ up in Chicago. And, brother, if you ever have need of me or anything from the lunch break, you already know you got it. So, listen, y'all, as always, let's not be divided. Let's be united. I truly do love you. There is nothing you can do about it except tune in tomorrow for Winning Wednesday right here on the lunch break, powered by JM&E, streaming live on Roku TV, courtesy of BS3 TV.
Hi, I'm Laura Williams coming to you from Bayway Cadillac of the Woodlands. Here we've got tons of inventory here at Bayway Cadillac of the Woodlands, ranging from XT4s to XT6 and from CT4 to CT6. We've got tons of certified pre-owned inventory here. Come see us here at Bayway Cadillac of the Woodlands. You can contact Laura Williams at 281-224-3666.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.